ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknex.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
Brandon!
What are you guys up to? What are you guys doing?
Oh yeah.
Well, I know.
For those options hounds, we closed out another trade. So we're not in anything right now. We're just in all cash, where we love to be.
Another trade that you got into at what? Last night at 1:30. Got it out of.
It was about an hour before. Well, it was about an hour before the market closed yesterday.
Yeah.
And I didn't time it perfect. I left some on the table. It got as high as like 35 cents for a minute.
Yeah. I think it would have expired worthless today too, right?
Oh yeah. It's already mostly worthless. But then I would be I give myself an exit price, and if it hits the price, I'm out. I don't cry about what happens after the fact. I have no control over that. Yeah. So this morning I was looking and I said 7 cents is my number. I put in the order early in the morning. I started brushing my teeth, playing with the kitties, and just bird dogging the prices, and then boop, we were out. That was it.
Easy peasy.
Which I think gave us, we finally cracked 8% for the month so far.
Yeah. Over 23 days, 8%, 8.24%. So,
and we're going to get another trade in before this time next week. So we'll wait and see what today serves us up. I might stack them like I did last week, but
I like the split. I mean, because you got some room to work. So splitting it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, you get a little cushion. But I also like just devouring time decay, just gobbling that up, and closer to the money, the better. And you can roll. Anyway, that's all option stuff. We'll talk a little bit, if you guys remind us, about the final day strategy for most of these options. Like, what do you want to do on the last day, your expiration day? Do you want to roll? Do you want to get stuck in them? Do you want to get exercised? What do you want to do? And what should be your kind of game plan for that? We'll talk about that behind the wall. But in front of the wall, Brandon, do you want to talk about, do we have any office cleanup we need? Anything like that?
I don't think so. We're squared.
Do we want to then, in this amazing case, do we want to talk about a lot of these kind of legacy banks basically getting punked into crypto?
Well, holy crap. I'm sorry. I just saw Cantor. What the flip? Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, how's it $55?
What's that?
Are you guys serious?
What?
Oh my gosh. Cantor Equity Partners.
You mean the guys that were raising that fund?
The 21. Yeah, it was $10 last week. That's a 500x now. That's insanity.
Because people are stupid.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, we could. The legacy stuff is cool. We saw this yesterday. I don't know if everybody got together and decided they were going to make a ton of announcements or whatever, but it looks like E-Trade is going to start offering Bitcoin directly to their clients. Now, E-Trade, probably one of the big. I think they have 7 trillion. Yeah, that's a T. $7 trillion under
Morgan
management.
Stanley. Yeah, Morgan Stanley.
Yeah, Morgan Stanley, right? So they're going to start offering Bitcoin direct to its customers. So you're going to go into E-Trade one day and just buy Bitcoin. So apparently they're working with large crypto, like Coinbase type of thing, right? They're working with Coinbase and Kraken to get Bitcoin tradable on their exchange. And you said it looks like Goldman Sachs is involved. Fidelity said something yesterday that they're going to start doing this stuff. The banks want in because I think they see the writing on the wall when Nick calls them up and they realize they can't perform actions that they would normally be able to perform if they were in crypto. They also see Tether as the most profitable company of all time, all history, with 7 employees. They see them just absolutely printing money, and they want part of that. They know how much Bitcoin changes hands. Even if you look at the Cantor Equity Partner, even if you look at them, right? So you go check them out, and you see what Jack Muller did with 21. His company is Strife or what? I don't know. There's so many companies. So his main company before he's like, oh, I'm going to merge with these guys and form 21. His main company was helping clients get Bitcoin. I'm like, how do you help clients get? Don't they just go on Coinbase and buy it? But no, he helps clients get Bitcoin, and he makes a small fee. They made billions of dollars last year doing this small fee type of thing. And so them able to do this, the banks with $7 trillion of customers that need to help buying Bitcoin because they can't go click a button themselves, which, I mean, it sounds absurd, but it's true. It's true. They need help buying Bitcoin, whatever that means. And so they'll help them get the clickety click in there, and they'll make that no fee trade, but it's really an order flow trade, or it's some sort of trade, and they're going to make the money on that. So they know that how big the crypto market's going to be. We're not in this. I mean, and I posted this yesterday, but I'm looking at this and I'm like saying to myself, there is no reason to be selling Bitcoin right now. Zero reason. I don't care if you see your little squiggly lines on a chart. The only people selling Bitcoin right now are the stupid TA guys who think they know better.
But they're not looking at their charts. Selling. They're not selling.
Well, because they don't own any to begin with.
They don't have anything. They don't have any money in the game.
Well, yeah, because they got sidelined long ago because their little TA line said that it was going to cross the 200-day moving average and they had to get out.
They got 4 Ethereum and 0.06 Bitcoin. Yeah.
If that. So what happened yesterday is this week everything changed. Okay, everything changed this week. This is going to change everything. But you know what's even going to? We didn't talk about this in detail of why this is such a big deal. But us being able to borrow at such low interest rates against Bitcoin isn't just like a tactic that we're using. This is a long-term game plan for people with Bitcoin that now they used to have to sell their Bitcoin to go pay for their rent. They used to have to sell Bitcoin to go pay for their house or their yacht or their vacation. Now, they don't need to sell Bitcoin anymore. They can go borrow against it and keep their Bitcoin in perpetuity and borrow at such a reasonable rate. Why would they ever sell ever again? They don't need, once they figure that, once this clicks for everybody, they don't need to sell Bitcoin ever again. It's not going to happen.
The limits will go up. So it won't be 1 million. It'll be on Coinbase this time next year. It'll be 5 million. And then the next year it'll be 12.5 million is the limit. What they'll do is they'll scale it up to, because they want people doing business there. Oh, and real quick, Bitcoin Radio. Tether reported 6 billion in profit. I don't know how that works. It's pretty easy. They just print out of thin air billions and billions and billions of Tether. There's nothing behind it. When I say nothing, I mean there's not 100 pennies per dollar behind it. There's probably 8 or 10 cents of stuff behind it.
You mean they don't go buy a treasury for every dollar?
Yeah. So
they print?
Yeah. So it's a counterfeiting operation, and people are okay with it. You know why? Because every central bank and treasury on earth that's run by a government is a counterfeiting operation. The only difference is they have taxing authority. So the idea is that a government can collect tax. What Tether can do is Tether can take money pre-inflation, go into the crypto market where they were one of the main currencies. This is what was the last decade. So basically think about it. You print a bunch of money, pre-inflation, you go buy up assets that you believe in. You go long the futures accounts. You go long the options accounts. Everywhere you can get leverage, you get leverage, knowing that tomorrow you're going to put another $60 billion in the market and no one's going to question it. So you go and buy up everything. You buy Bitcoin, you buy Ethereum, you buy all these assets. Oh, surprise, surprise, the market goes up. People need liquidity. So you start selling back your USDT to them to free up market liquidity. You have pumped the market. And it looks like there's a pretty strong correlation between the money printing that Tether does, at least in the past, and runs in Bitcoin. And my friends, Tether doesn't stop printing. Those scammy Ponzi sons of bitches, they create money out of thin air faster than you could draw the zeros, because no one will ever stop them, because no one seems to care. Did you they questioned Paul Arduino or whatever his name is, Paolo Arduino, he's the head of Tether, about why he didn't seek to be regulated in Europe. He's like, oh, we didn't even try to get regulated. Oh, we didn't even try to pass their situation. We just think it's bad for stable coins. And the guy's like, right, but I mean, you would just have to do an audit. No, we're not going to go down that path. We're not going to play their games. Right, but they just wanted you to complete an audit. It's not like ridiculous games. It's like if you were selling a watch, someone would say, hey, can I see it? Can I see the watch? No, but you can buy it. I don't want to buy it until I see it. Sorry. You know what? I'll go somewhere else then. Okay, go buy. That's why there's no Tether in Europe, because it couldn't pass MiCA regulations. And they didn't even try. So there you go. That's why. All right. So I guess Goldman Sachs is coming to the party. Did you guys hear that? Goldman Sachs. Wait, what platform can you borrow on your Bitcoin? James. Okay, first of all, James, buddy, I want to appreciate you for having not used cap lock on at least a few of your words. That might be the first time. I think James has turned a corner.
Yeah, I think it is the first time.
Yeah, well done, James. You know what? I'm going to give you a fantastic answer. See on the screen where it says Coinbase? And see right below it, it says Bitcoin-backed loans are now fully rolled out in all U.S. users. So if you're a U.S. user, you would use Coinbase. Now, you can also use LEDIN, LEDN, garbage rates. You can use salt lending, garbage rates. You can use Nexo if you're outside the United States, and garbage rates. No one, and by the way, you don't have to be in the States to use Morpho, do you? Anybody can.
Fully decentralized. You know what that means to me? Music to my ears. Decentralized. Every time I look for anything new, James, I ask ChatGPT if it's fully decentralized.
James, bro, we just went through the whole list. You can go use Morpho. You can use
Morpho. James, use Morpho. But I actually wanted to touch on this because this is important.
Use Morpho, mofo.
Where is it? I lost it.
What do you mean? It's right there.
No, somebody asked a question. Oh, Jeff. Okay. So is a compounding rate a reasonable rate? Okay, so let's go through this really quickly. Morpho actually compounds every second. So 4% or whatever it is compounding every second. So I asked ChatGPT what 4% compounding secondly is. Turns out it's 4.08%. So I took that 4.08% and I compared it against the 7.5% prime rate, and I would assume any one of you would like 4.08% better than 7.5%.
Wait. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Go on.
Are you? I'm going to ask ChatGPT if it's sure.
4.08 better than 7. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm with you. Yep.
Yes. I think 4.08. So this is the yes. I asked it if it's sure because I'm like, are you sure it's only 4.08? And so he compounded it secondly for me again. The accurate per second compounding is 4.08%. Not too bad. if you pay on a second mortgage 7.5% plus points, plus like 3 points or whatever, you're at 10%. So yeah, everybody's going to take the 4% over the 7%.
Yeah.
So that's a good question, Jeff. I think it's valid to ask because sometimes once you start compounding things crazy, when you compound things, like when we compound things in the options, that's assuming it's 5% new every week. This is a different type of compounding. It's just compounding every second. It compounds the whole amount differently. So anyway, because it takes an annual rate. So you take that annual rate and you divide it by the amount of seconds in the year, and then it compounds each second. Okay. So anyway, so yeah. But that's a good question.
365 times 24 times 60 times 60.
Yes.
Okay. Quit calling me salespeople. Hey, good news on my wire, Brandon.
What? You canceled it completely? What?
Nothing. But apparently with Chase, no news is good news. Son of a bitch. Okay.
How so? How so?
I did just want to just real quick just hit on the bit about Goldman.
Okay.
Oh
yeah.
wait. Do you want to?
Oh no, this is nothing. This is just I had this pulled. This is another part of the narrative. Like, I don't know why people are selling their Bitcoin.
Yeah.
There's so many companies buying Bitcoin right now. This is absurd. But this I think is the bigger deal. Morpho and Coinbase I think is the actual bigger deal. And then there was a rumor yesterday about Nvidia buying. I think it's a full-on rumor. I think it was started by some Reddit forum. I'm not gonna put any weight in that room. It could be plausible, but I'm not gonna put any real weight until I see a real source. So anyway.
Goldman Sachs is shaking up the financial landscape by expanding its digital asset trading and tokenization efforts. So at Token 2049, the head of global digital assets, which I'm sure he gets laughed at by everybody else at Goldman Sachs, unveiled plans to push crypto operations to the next level. So this is a pretty big pivot for Goldman, because not even 5 years ago, they were shitting all over crypto, saying that people that own crypto were actually stupid. Like,
True.
Not just you guys are risking it. You're stupid, Brandon. You're stupid.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I couldn't hear him yelling how stupid I was, because those double paned windows in those Rolls Royces, you can't hear shit on the outside of them. You can't. You hear nothing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm like, is he counting? What is he doing? He keeps saying one. I don't know. Anyway, Goldman Sachs is going to integrate crypto lending and collateral liquidity. Crypto lending and collateral liquidity is part of its broader vision. With rising client interest in digital assets, this move solidifies the bank's commitment to being at the forefront of a rapidly evolving market. The financial giant's renewed focus on digital assets marks a significant step beyond traditional banking. Instead of sticking to conventional financial instruments, Goldman Sachs is venturing into uncharted territory by tapping into the booming crypto space. The expansion aims to secure the necessary regulatory approvals, unlike Tether, to bring a host of digital asset services under one roof. It's all about the lending. Brandon's got it right. It's all about the lending. Why? Because you don't have to do anything revolutionary. You just have to be a better mousetrap, mostly. And for a lot of things, crypto is this big, giant pile of not quite accessible money. It's still sticky and tricky and hard to move around to get out and actually buy shit, right? You can be crypto rich and real world just stuck. Not poor, but stuck. And you have to go through all these hoops. So these bigger facilities, they realize this. They see this giant opportunity. They're like, look, man, if we are the exit for these assholes, we get a piece of that. Because remember, in banking, they're not going to do anything innovative. But if they can mine you on the way in or the way out, if they can stick it to you any way possible, they're absolutely going to. And the worry now is, and they see it, we've been talking about this for like over a year, is the exchanges are going to become banks. And then the banks are rippled. Because when Kraken and Coinbase function as full service banks, they issue the debit cards, you hold your stable coin, you get paid more than money market rates. Pretty soon you'll get a check and then a checking account. I now have a checking account at E-Trade. I have a checking account. I have my trading account. Now they're going to offer crypto. Why the fuck do I need Chase for anything? Don't need them. And so I think Legacy is starting to see, oh crap. If we don't do something quick, we won't have a chance to catch up because people will just go, I'll just do all my banking at Kraken, or I'll do all my banking through Coinbase. And don't think that Coinbase's plans, even from way back, weren't to become a bank. They didn't want it. It wasn't just enough to be a financial, like a little on-ramp for crypto. They've always wanted to be a bank. And then it will happen in the next couple years. One of these buttholes is going to get FDIC insurance to where your money in USDC, 250,000 of it will be FDIC protected. You'll see. And when that comes, the insurance, and I guarantee you, that's what the Elizabeth Warrens and the banks of the world are fighting against. Behind closed doors, I promise, they're like, no, do not give them insurance. Do not give them, because if they do, if the FDIC gives crypto accounts or just Coinbase, Kraken, those kind of guys, FDIC backing, that shit is over with. Like, it is over with because you have a lot of money, a lot of capital that escaped, and it is never coming back. It will never get repatriated.
Yeah.
So it's very exciting. Anyway, that's do we want to talk real quick just before we go behind the wall? Spend like 2 minutes talking about
We have to.
Good old Mike.
We have to. Yesterday they had their earnings call.
Whoa.
I don't know if you. So he came out the gate right away. I mean, you can see the stock price yesterday kind of dip. It went up to 402 and then it kind of dipped yesterday because I think this stuff got leaked. So what's weird to me is the psyche of the MicroStrategy investor when he announced the 21-21 plan. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, we see how this is going to happen. Then I don't know if you guys remember, but right after they had a vote that says we want to print basically infinite amount of stock just in case we need it. Well, they're gonna need it anyway. And now yesterday during the call, everybody's kind of mad. They're like, because he introduced a 42-42 plan, meaning he upped his at the money. So now he's going to be in a position where he can now do another $21 billion worth of at the money, basically use the stock, sell it completely, and go buy Bitcoin, which there's definitely mixed feelings in there. But now he could buy another $21 billion worth of Bitcoin without using his convertible note. But people were mad because they're like, well, why didn't you use the convertible notes all the way first and then do another 21-21 plan? Well, it's easier just to dump the stock, right?
Yeah.
Then he doesn't have to go raise the money.
His answer in parentheses was, well, because all of you dumb assholes buy my stock. You buy my infinity paper. Why would I issue something I got to pay back when I can issue bullshit tokens? He's basically got a meme coin as a stock.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Here's the thing. I mean,
wait.
What
did they lose? What did they lose this quarter?
Oh, I don't know, $16 a share or something like that.
They lost. I think it was 5.9 billion.
Yeah, it was like
now, and of course, he blames Bitcoin, not all of his employees in a business that doesn't exist, that does nothing. He doesn't blame that. He blames Bitcoin. Oh, it's because Bitcoin was down. Wait a minute. If you've been buying consistently, you can't be down. You can't be. But it's that little bit in there when he says we're raising the money for buying Bitcoin purchases and corporate and other and what is it and corporate means or there's like a little clever thing and corporate uses or whatever, and then like that little corporate bit means they can go pay themselves big salaries, they can have big offices, they can throw popcorn, hand job parties or whatever they do over at Strategy now that Micro's gone. Can you imagine you work at Strategy and they're like, what do you do? What do you do at Strategy? Oh, I go in for sushi Mondays. What? Yeah. And so we have sushi. That's Monday. What do you do on Tuesday? That's Taco Tuesday. Right? I mean, but what do you do for work? Taco Tuesday. God damn. No, I get it now. I see where the 5.9 billion went.
Well, this is the only company in the world. Like, this is like, if somebody were to look at this,
So
this
bad.
company would be a penny stock, right?
It's wouldn't be any.
But here's what I don't get. Like, how's this a surprise of minus 10,000? Like, what analyst out there is saying, no, they're going to have good earnings? Like, how come it's a surprise, though? Why is it a miss? Explain that to me. Why is it?
Well,
who's saying it's a miss? Like, who's saying that it was going to be higher?
Miss. Here's what's funny. I think it's a miss based on what their own people, what they say publicly. Because they put out,
No,
don't they do guidance?
Yeah, they do. No, they don't do guidance. They do Bitcoin yield. They don't do cash-based guidance. So who's saying that they missed? That's why I'm confused about.
Well, there's got to be some number, and I'm sure there are some analysts out there guessing. They're like, well, Sushi Monday, Taco Tuesday.
They're not going to buy tacos next Tuesday. They're going to make money.
Dark Web Wednesday, Scantily Clad Thursday, Transvestite Friday, and the weekends are off. So, I mean, I guess negative 5.9 billion.
I guess.
Anyway, this is one of the worst companies, and this is a Ponzi scheme. I guess only second to GameStop, which is nothing.
Yeah, we gotta. So a lot of people bailing out of GameStop because of the lack of transparency on the $1.3 billion they raised.
Oh yeah, you mean the money they raised for Bitcoin?
Yeah, they haven't came out and said we bought Bitcoin. But at least, okay, Michael Saylor is Michael, but at least he actually is doing what he say. He's buying Bitcoin. There are some fees and stuff, but he's buying Bitcoin every week.
He's a cult leader, but he believes his own bullshit.
That's fine.
GameStop are a bunch of fucking
You can't trust
crooks.
them as far as you can throw them.
The only reason any of those dudes have a job is because dumbass Roaring Kitty convinced a bunch of fucking dummies during COVID to buy the dumbest stock on earth. And they did it. And they made him rich. And they made about 4 dudes rich. 4 poorly performing, terrible governance, douchebag, dipshit. I mean, these dudes can't run a company. These motherfuckers can't run a car down the freeway, much less a company.
That's right.
So they stole. This money is stolen money. It's no different than these bullshit SPACs and all this crap where they're like, give us the money and then we'll go find a company to buy. What? Just give us money. Fuck you. You see Anthony Papagliano's doing that now? He's trying to raise $200 million in a SPAC to educate people on Bitcoin. Pomp, you don't know what the fuck Bitcoin is. How are you going to educate anyone? You and your kind of freaky looking girlfriend in your apartment are going to raise $200 million? Get the fuck out of here. You're such a scumbag. And of course, where was he the last couple of years? Fucking silent, because Bitcoin was underperforming. So when it's underperforming, he zips it. He fucking disappears. But then when Bitcoin's going up again, I've been here the whole time. Woo, Bitcoin, orange, laser peel, fucking scumbags, dude. God damn. Anyway,
nice.
That's it. I got all my ranting out.
Good.
Somebody's like, you get really mad, man. You gotta.
Who said this?
Look, somebody that was watching, they're like, you gotta get some stuff for like your anger and all this. I'm like, buddy, other than screaming when the cats destroy everything in my life and screaming at Pomplianos, the Powells, the Michael Saylors of the world, I got no complaints. I got good coffee. I got an options market that pays me every week. Pays me sweet premiums. I'm good.
You're good to go, right? You're good?
All right.
You're good. Let's go behind the wall.
Neil has called it.
Let's go behind the wall.
So it shall be done. All hail Deputy Neil.
All right.
Now put the thing on. Bam.
Bam. I'll click the thingies. Just if you
Bam.
do click the thingies, never get rid of the duck ever.
No, keeping the duck.
Always keep the duck. Yeah.
Keep the duck. But we're gonna get rid of the other ones?
Well, almost all of them. You'll see. I'll show you when we're done. I'll show you what I'm done today.
Okay. Wait.
We keep 2 of them. 2.
Oh, okay. You too. Okay.
No, nobody knows.
Going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast privately for the digital investors and digital private clients. If you'd like to join us, simply go to nickblacknext.com and subscribe to one of our plans and immediately take advantage of our library of tools, tactics, and information. It's all designed to help you learn, grow, and manage your portfolio like a pro. Join us now. We're going behind the proverbial wall now to continue the broadcast.
He's trying to get paid twice.
You know, that's what I like about that guy, though. He's always trying to work over